Hello, it's me again, Emma K, back with another sad story. This one happened last week when my daughter came home devastated after learning that her friend was diagnosed with a terminal illness. And she asked me if in our family history we have any uh, deadly diseases. I remember I didn't answer, I just kept quiet. And my daughter, after a minute, she said, Mama, did you hear what my question? And I said, yes, but I also have a question for you. And I said, did you read my book? She said, yes, I did, but I don't remember to have seen anything about your family history. I said, well, maybe you read the book, but you skipped the introduction like many people do. So I gave her the book and I told her, go read again, and this time make sure you start with the introduction. So for those who read my book and skipped the introduction, or who didn't have a chance to listen to the audiobook, this is a small clip where I spoke about my family history.
My answer always surprises doctors when I say I don't know my family medical history, since nearly no one in my family was given a chance to die from a natural cause. As a matter of fact, it's impossible for me to recall the most important events that marked my family history without referring to the killing of Tutsis. For instance, the year 1973 marks the first killing of Tutsis that I personally witnessed, even though I was very young. The year 1990 is referred to in this book as the pre-genocide period, when Tutsis were being hunted and imprisoned. As for the year 1994, I refer to it as the apocalypse, when I saw the world ending on us during the genocide of Tutsis. Unfortunately, I could go on and on if I were to include the persecutions and killings that many Rwandans, especially my own family members, are presently undergoing. But even though my life experience from early childhood up to the current day was marked by killing episodes, I consider my childhood otherwise normal, and I have some sweet memories worth recounting in my book. I was born in Machuba, in the province of Kiangugu, where my dad, Ephraim Kayijuka, was appointed as a church minister. We were 9 children in my family, but I only knew 7 siblings, since Issachar, one of my brothers, passed away before I was born. I must also say that even though a family of 8 children sounds overwhelming, it felt as though my younger brother Ben, my older sister Tabitha, and I were the only children in our family. We, as a trio, were 3 peas in a pod, often butting heads. I was falling victim to the middle child syndrome, always finding myself fighting against the rest of the team. I couldn't have expected anyone to stand with me, not even my mother, since I could see she thought of me as the troublemaker. In fact, I grew up thinking I wasn't anyone's favorite. I particularly disliked my older sister, Tabitha, and I thought I had a good reason when I reflect on the worst day of my life when I was only 3 years old. I must have woken up on the wrong side of the bed that day. I was grumpy and moody and cried all morning. My mom was busy doing household chores, and I felt that she was not giving me enough attention. Knowingly, I kept whining for hours, trying to make my point. Soon enough, my mom had become irritated by my persistent whining and cradled me on her back to proceed with her household duties. Then, finally, I stopped crying. As I was comfortably settling on my mom's back, my older sister Tabitha grew jealous and started to exhibit aggressive behavior towards my mom, and they started to argue. I was comfortable and quiet, listening to their argument, when I heard Tabitha saying, in Kinyarwanda, my native language, Nisio siana siawe uhitsi kiragapfa, which meant, I wish for that dumb kid on your back to die. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I cried my eyes out. Poor Mom cuddled me, trying to ease my pain, but I was too hurt to stop. I must have fallen asleep from the shock and exhaustion. Otherwise, I can't remember what stopped me. I also remember how jealous I felt of Ben, because I thought I deserved all the praises he continuously received. I remember the day my mom adopted a puppy. That little animal was life-changing for all of us, and especially for Ben. In fact, the presence of that puppy in our family wiped out Ben's brain. For every question you would ask Ben, or even someone else, Ben would volunteer to be the one who answered, and his answers were always about the puppy. I remember an evening when my mom was looking for a cutting knife but couldn't find it. "I found it," said Ben. My mom was excited. She couldn't believe that the knife she had spent hours looking for had just been found by her cutie little boy. I watched all of that, and in my head I thought, "Here we go again. Ben is the center of the universe." "Come here, my sweetheart. You're a lifesaver. Show me where it's hiding," my mom said. Ben took my mom's hand, brought her into the living room, and pointed at the puppy. "Don't you see the puppy?" My mom was disappointed, since she thought it was the knife she had been looking for. And I felt relieved, since I was not so ready to hear, yet again, my family bragging about Ben's accomplishments. With Ben failing at the task by confusing the puppy with the knife, I thought his career as the family celebrity was over. I was wrong. The next morning, Ben became a fortune teller. "Beware of this king. He's about to get us into big trouble." That was Ben, reading a book upside down. My mom and Dad looked into each other's eyes. "This is a strong statement from a 3-year-old. Let's see what the future holds for us," said my mom. In fact, it didn't take much time until Ben's revelations started to materialize. Or was it just a coincidence?